So the only probability we've done so far is theoretical probability. Theoretical probability is what the chances of something happening should be. So, shooting a free throw in basketball. The theoretical probability of shooting a free throw is 1 out of 2. Because there's only 2 things that can happen. You make it or not. And I mean, like, you don't take any factors into account. That would be theoretical probability. Experimental probability is the chances of something happening according to an experiment that was done. Or according to what has already happened. So like free throws, if somebody shoots 10 free throws and they make 9 of them, you're going to expect them to make 9 of the next 10 as well. So that experimental probability would be 90%, 9 out of 10. So there is 2 different kind of probabilities, and it's pretty much exclusively if they show you a table or a set of numbers from something that has already been counted, then this will be experimental probability. If they just tell you you have a dice, well, you know a dice has 6 sides, and so they're kind of telling you theoretical probability. But like say this one down here, they counted up how many times they rolled a dice. So that would be experimental probability. So you're basically saying how often it's going to happen according to what has been done. Like, maybe, like, have you guys ever heard of weighted dice? Like, have you watched like Las Vegas movies where they check over the dice and things like that? Like, every time there's a dealer or something like that, they actually inspect the dice and check the dice before they even give it to them. Because they want to know that one side of the dice isn't heavier than the others. Because if one side is heavier, that side's going to land down a lot more often. So this would show you that maybe that dice isn't very even. Same with this marble bag. So this one says we've got the 3 colors, obviously not this picture. So we've got red, blue, and green. Red was pulled out 7 times, blue 8 times, green 5 times. So according to this experiment, even though you don't call it an experiment, the experimental probability of drawing red on the next one would be 7 out of something. Now on this one, you're not gonna count up how many marbles, you're gonna count up how many times they practiced, or how many times they did it. What is this, 20? So 7 out of 20 would be the chances of you getting a red on the next marble pull. So it's the exact same probability info that we did before, but you're just getting the numbers from the table. Experimental probability of blue, 8 out of 20. And then I believe this next was or, yep. So red or blue works the same, you're going to add them. So 7 plus 8. So 15 out of 20. Basically, red or blue was pulled most of the time. I was trying to decide if I wanted to call on you guys or if I wanted to have you try to fill them out on your own. Bajua, let's go with you. Do you think you can help me out with what's the experimental probability of rolling a 1 according to that chart? Or if we can't figure it out yet, what do we need to do? You know, whatever. Okay, we need to add them up. 10, 14, 25. 25 times it was rolled. Okay, so now what's the chances of rolling a 1 on the next one? How many times was a 1 rolled? 5. And then out of 25, perfect. Now, you wouldn't leave it as 5 out of 25. On that quiz I fill out for you guys, I very purposely made sure that there were some questions that if you wrote this answer, it was wrong. You have to reduce it. So 1/5 would be the correct answer, not 5/25. So it can be difficult to remember to simplify. Honestly, that's partially why some people prefer percentages, because you never simplify percentages. Partner? How about 5 or 6? Do you remember what to do for the or? Okay, so what would I add? Okay, perfect, so 3 5s, 7 6s, and then this is gonna be out of 25. So 10 out of 25, that's gonna reduce down 2/5. Good. Maddie, what do you think? How about an odd? What would I do for odds? Even if you don't know the answer, how would I figure out how many times I rolled an odd number before? I could. So you're saying count the number of evens and then do the opposite?
Yeah.
100% that is a correct answer. I'm not sure why you would do it. That feels like the extra work. So it sounded to me like you knew what even and odd were, right?
Yeah.
Let's just count the odds.
Okay.
Okay. But what you said 100% would work. So odd numbers, we've got 5 1s, 2 3s, 3 5s. And it can get super confusing when you're doing the dice one, getting the numbers confused with each other. Just try to keep it straight that the bottom one is how often. So we have 5 plus 2 plus 3. So we also have 10. 2/5. Yeah, I did. I went over the 8. I suppose actually the 8 one's probably an important one to do.
Yeah, I agree.
That was sort of on your quiz. David, how often did we roll an 8? 0. So you can write 0 out of 5. You can write 0%.
0%.
However you want to write it. But there is no 8 on the dice. That is true. I should say there is no 8 on a 6-sided number. Unfortunately, that is the sole reason that they call it a 6-sided number cube, is so that people don't try to do loopholes like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you guys would understand the way this was shown or written. Should we go with Evelyn? What does this mean when we have B, 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 R, R, you know, like a bunch of letters? Okay, so how many times did we roll a B? Perfect. What is that? 7? 3, 6, 8? So instead of having a table, it just basically writes down exactly what was rolled. What does that add up to, 12, 20?
Always in the 20s.
That's to make it easy for you.
Okay, so
That way the numbers work out nice. Taylor, I forgot, we were supposed to start with you. You were gonna start every day. Do you think you could help me out with, red? What would be the experimental probability of getting a red on the next spin? So 7 was how many times we did before? 7 times out of how many times? Perfect. So then that would be the probability. You're gonna have to have both numbers.
red or green.
Isaac, do these numbers, were these the numbers you were expecting from that picture? It's probably kind of hard on yours because it's in grayscale. But like up on the picture here, how big is blue? So it's half the picture. We would have expected blue to be half of the spins. The fact that it's not kind of tells me, you guys have probably done this before if you played a board game at home and had the spinner like on the rug or something like that. If your spinner is not flat, like say this spinner was tilted towards red and green, it probably is gonna land on red and green more often, even though blue is half the circle. So they call that fair chance. Okay, I feel like I don't necessarily need to keep going with you on this page. I feel like you'd be able to fill out the rest on your own. What I would like you to do is try the next page on your own. It's the back side, oh, it's not the back side, you can turn it over.
I'm a little scared.
Oh, I don't think,
11.
is the next, does that page say now you try it? Yeah, it does. I was thinking wrong. Okay, by tomorrow, I'm hoping you can get this done. Now, the advantage of you guys having the 2-day week this week is that you are specifically supposed to have an E day on Wednesday. Now, I'm not gonna assign you something new on Wednesday. On Wednesday, your assignment is going to be finish up anything and everything that you haven't so far. We're halfway through the trimester. This is all the super easy stuff because it's all been reviewed, somewhat reviewed. And if you are looking to have a good grade for algebra this trimester, this is the part that you want to have everything in for and to bring your grade up. And so then you kind of can afford to maybe the next topic is really hard for you. Well, if you don't do as good on that test, doing well on the stuff now will balance that out. And so it'll help your grade out quite a bit. So if you have anything missing, that's gonna be your assignment Wednesday. Today we've got, 15 minutes left. You should be able to finish that page in probably 5 minutes.